I think the world needs get back to the basics, such as maintain the main thing. Number one, God. Took hard work, but it took dedication with myself. And once that entitlement kick in, with no respect, it's really dangerous. Warning: I'm an affector. I'm going to affect you in a manner of greatness.
All right, welcome to the Rad Dad Podcast. This is episode 33. I have my good friend Waymen Cambpell here. We met under interesting circumstances. I showed up to your sandwich stand at Fiesta Days in Spanish Fork, ordered a sandwich, and immediately I called you out and I said, I know sandwiches, and this is the real deal.
Yeah.
And from then on, we've just been friends, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a unique ability to... If you gave me a crowd of 1,000 people, I could pick out the special ones. And I would pick you out because from our first conversation, I could tell that there was something different about you. So I want to dive into that during this podcast, and I have a lot of questions. But just to start off, tell me about your upbringing, your childhood, and a few highlights from that time in your life.
Oh, man, my childhood, it was awesome, man. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, born and raised. 70s, 80s, baby. That good music, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That gang activity, baby. That Reagan era drug epidemic, baby. But the unique thing about it, man, I had great grandparents and God. So they were able to keep God instilled in our hearts. However, outside, it was I like to say 98% of wild infestants, or shall I say, not so good influence.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a lot of our dads out the home. In return, it made a lot of mothers to try to raise men. And a lot of friends, dead and gone, passed away, prison. It tried to catch me in their wave. It tried to catch me. But I like to say, but God, he had another plan for me. And with the ability to hearken to his word, I was able to move on to bigger and better things.
So in your upbringing, who was your shining star? Who was your guide?
They say it takes a village to raise the tribe. And I like to say I had the village. Mm-hmm. I definitely had the grandparents on both sides. I had a bunch of family. I had friends, families. And along the way, you tend to take your eye off. Like I said, the bad infested gets inside and kind of leans you toward another way. And I went that other way. However, that good upbringing and them good folks was, they say the scriptures say God gives you the spirit of remembrance. And once you're able to settle in and settle down and get into your sacred place, you're able to hear and pay attention. And I remembered a lot of faces and examples of how to and what to look forward to and who to grow from. And like I said, I was able to be around my big brother. He's always straight, always. He always had my back. In return, a couple of his friends I look up to like older brothers. I have another friend. He's like another brother, older brother. So I really was around really good company, mm-hmm. and they're still in my life today. Yeah. So I have to take hat off to the village. Absolutely.
I've always believed in that concept of raising a village, and I'm learning that now that I have young kids. But I also feel like the village concept that you grew up with is dissolving due to technology. I feel like families are more distant, friends are more distant. Our social life takes place on a digital plane.
Mm-hmm.
But then I meet people like you where we can have a conversation, we can be real with each other, and we can connect quickly.
Absolutely.
What do you think the world needs more of that?
I think the world needs get back to the basics, such as maintain the main thing, number one, God, and then with God, then morals. I think the morals are being dissolved. Shall I say it's not enough of the morals being the ethic morals, the strong morals, the don't do that, and the raising the voice sometime if that's what it takes as far as the dads and the men in the family to be stern and not afraid to be stern, but teaching the right and wrong and, the smiling, the opening doors, the respecting your elders, those strong morals that even go so far to when us men make mistakes, because we will and we do, but we know the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I was talking about that today with someone, and I said, I kind of see when I go back home, I find that the younger generation don't even respect the elders. It's not, I look at it like the patriarchs and the matriarchs of the family.
Right.
And from my point of view, it's the elders, but also if I have an auntie who I'm older than, however, I respect her like she's older than me because of the way the line go. She's my aunt. And I was raised through my grandmother that no matter what, that's your aunt. And so it's, even if it was compared to the aunt that was 15 years older than me, there was no difference.
Yeah.
It was still auntie. So yeah, it's that respect level that's not there anymore. And that's why it's so easy for the younger generation to just, just living dangerous.
Yeah, it scares me when respect is not present. It pulls away the opportunity to learn a lesson. And when those lessons aren't learned at a young age, it just makes me a little bit fearful for the future.
Absolutely.
For when they have kids, right?
Then that entitlement kick in. And once that entitlement kick in with no respect, it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
I was having that talk with, I talk to my kids all the time, and I keep it as we call it in Los Angeles. I keep it 100.
Yeah.
I don't cut no corners. I'm straight up with them because I need for them to hear it straight from me so they know exactly what it sounds like when they run into those bums, as I call them, the ones that trying to fake it because they want something out of them, especially my daughters.
Yeah.
They already used to the language, the facial, and what it appears to be, so they know how to walk away real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids nowadays, man, I was just in Los Angeles just recently, and just walking around, I'm filled with I'm in my heart, I was raised to be to affect, be an affector. Don't get affected. And I'm affected in a positive manner. And that's all I think about is being an affector. If I can affect you on just by saying hello, just by smiling at you, just by introducing myself and all those good manners. So when I was in Los Angeles, I'm the same way down there. And it's so many of the wall is up. And the wall is up to defer you to become like that. And so my kids, they laugh at me because they sit back and say, watch Dad walk in the store and talk to everyone. Well, they're not used to that down in California.
Yeah.
They're not used to a person just always speaking and saying hello
Yeah.
without nothing in return, you know? So I was in traffic and I see why. It's traffic every moment of the day. So can you imagine just leaving the house to go to the next city over? You got to get in traffic. Just imagine the congestion just in yourself. It's terrible. It's terrible.
So the part where you're just unapologetic about who you are and you approach people and you make people smile, is that part of your personality, or is that something that you were raised with or taught?
You know what? It's actually took a while for me to see it. I've been told that my whole entire life, from young to growing up, that I was always told that you were always a good guy. Like I said, in the midst of being around the bad company, you can be swallowed into it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's just I had came to God and asked for my purpose. And once I tapped into my purpose, you know, Heavenly Father told me that, how do you know when you in your purpose? I had no clue. And it came to me, he said that anything that you can do without no payings, nothing in return, if it makes you just feel like the same way you feel when you work hard to get paid to take care of your family, how that makes you feel. Anything that you do that makes you feel like that, that's your purpose. And so I found that being kind, being generous, being nice, speaking, smiling, just affecting in that kind of manner made me feel like, like really good.
Yeah.
You know? And so I knew I was tapping into something. But then it's like, you know, when you're lifting weights, exercising, you can look in the mirror all you want, but you don't see yourself growing and looking good until someone says something.
Yeah.
That's when the light comes on. Man, I am starting to look good. Well, it's the same feeling when you tap into your purpose.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's people steadily coming up to you, saying things to you in that manner to make you like, yeah. But then you know what you asked for. And he gets all the glory, man. Absolutely.
This last year has been an awesome journey for me, and I am now ready to take the Rad Dad brand to the next step, which is building out our website that'll offer a lot of free resources for dads and parents alike to just become better men and also connect with their spouses and children. So please like and subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Thank you. You know, something I've learned in the last year is, you know, you see those people that are like intimidating, like the cool guy or like the big dude at the gym, or, you know, and in my head, I've always been like reluctant or second guess myself to approach that person. But the moment you open your mouth, I don't care if they look mad or mean. The moment you say hi or you give a compliment, they lighten up and they want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In my observation, just seeing you interact with other people and on social media and stuff, I get the idea that you are somebody who knows love and believes in love. But I also know that to know and believe in love, you have to experience hate. Talk to me about that.
Oh, man. You talk about from let down after let down after let down after let down, then you become used to it or accustomed to it. Like that's a part of life. You start believing that you start believing in that first. That wall builds up to where nothing else is believed, you know, as far as not being let down. You know, you even believe in, you know, love is not true. Love is cheating. Love is saying you love, and that's it. Love is not in no works at all. It's just in all talk. You believe in all that. And you know, the not only the letdowns, but the losses after loss after loss. And you start getting accustomed to the loss. You start seeing loss as in death and things of that nature. Like it's just normal. Well, that's part of letting down. You know, that's part of believing in not love. You know, who is God? Where is God? How can there be a God? You start questioning.
Yeah.
And that in itself, you start to, it's every single day, every moment of the day of that negativity, thoughts and living and speaking that you become that way a person, you know, thinking and becomes who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And love is just so far. However, I've learned even through that, as you said, going through that, I've learned that through that road, I went through that. Yet I also went through where I had to cry out and ask God to and seek Him. I seeked Him. Show me you. And where I was, it was amazing how He just was showing Himself to me. And the things He was telling me to do. And I was listening. And the things that just started just opening up and started happening. And how my life just started changing as far as first inner. And then just working it inside and just constantly doing it by listening, it became who I am. And my life just started changing with everything, you know. And He showed me His love for me. In return, I learned about 2 words, His mercy and His grace. And it took me to a whole nother level. And once I learned that His grace is Him giving me what I do not deserve, and understanding His mercy was Him not giving me what I truly deserve, oh man, it was the love just kind of just, and the thoughts, the speaking, I learned all that. It really makes a huge difference. So it was a new way of thinking. It was a new way of living, new friends, new structures, cut out a lot of the old, because the old was terrible. Yet and still, the old is what got me who I am today. So I'm appreciative of where I come from. My grandparents taught me love. Yet and still, like I said, and before that, you get in home, we get 5%, but the rest of the day you got outside, even from a little kid till you're a teenager and start running around, being able to go around the block or 10 blocks away. Now you find yourself 95% out there and this 5%, but that 5% taught me God. Mm-hmm. And they loved me. So once I got tapped back into that, I started understanding that my grandparents meant well. They were hard workers. They didn't hurt people. They stood for something. Their names was excellent. And it was me that came from them. And I was ruining their name. And not me. I'm finna make sure this legacy live on, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, that was it.
So what responsibility did you feel to continue that legacy when you became a father?
Well, when I became a father, like I said before, in the Reagan eras and the drugs came, it took our fathers out. We were young. Not only me, but a whole bunch of my friends. And we didn't have that. My father was there, but my father got caught up in that disease. But by the grace of God, I was around my grandparents, so they kept the morals in. They didn't allow me to hate him or talk. And he still was dad, but they made sure that mindset of respecting your parents,
Yeah.
they didn't allow me to say nothing bad. And in return, the way he was with me, that's what he taught. So when I had my kids, I was just what I was taught. I didn't start off being a great dad. I started off being what I was taught. And it wasn't serious because I didn't know. We all didn't know. So we wasn't, in my generation, it wasn't a lot of dads that raised their kids because we didn't know. We went off, everything was on the fly.
Yeah.
As sometimes having kids is on the fly, yet and still, that example is it means a lot. It means a lot to have that example in home. We didn't come from mom and dad being married, raising a kid. Mom, I'm seeing your mom and dad every night. I'm sitting at the table. Me and a whole bunch of my friends, 95% of the whole county. We wasn't raised from that. And so we only became what we were raised like. So on that note, my first half of being a dad, I didn't know how to be. And so I missed the mark. I totally missed the mark. Like I said before, but God, once he got to me and I started understanding love, it was the seeds I sowed. I sowed seeds. Why would they respect me? I had to come back and earn it. I had to come back and with the grace of God, I asked for it. I worked at it. I stayed at it. I stayed consistent. I did all the things that got back on the right track to show my kids, my sons, how to be men, so that this wouldn't keep being a generational curse. It goes down to my grandkids.
Yeah.
I knew I had to break the curse, stop drinking, stop doing all the things that leads to no morals and terrible ethics and being not a good dad, because just because we make the kids don't make us a father, or don't make us where they have to call us dad. Dads earn that.
Yeah.
They earn that. And man, I go back to them days and then I come back to the upbringing. My dad is a great guy now. He got his life back, but he showed me. So this is how awesome my dad was. Even though he showed this and showed me how to be this, he also changed his life. He gave his life to God before I did. He got his thing back. He married my mom again, and he got him a job, and he worked that job 30 years. And so I give my dad the utmost respect, because I remember when I was growing up, you had neighborhoods. In our neighborhood, they knew my dad, and they would say to us as that next generation, you guys gonna grow up to be like your dad. I've heard that so many times, and at that moment, my dad was on his disease era. And it was one thing I've learned: what the devil mean for bad, God always mean for good. And so my dad, when he got his stuff together, like I said in before, it showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
And I did it. And now my kids are, my sons don't gangbang. They still in LA. They don't gangbang. They don't have kids by this woman, kids. And they take care of their babies. Trying to get them to get married. But, that's their call.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stay out of that and I just live through an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. What would your message to a young father be that is on the fence about being lazy with fatherhood or fully committing to fatherhood?
My message would be, take yourself an example. Think about you. Whether you came from your dad wasn't there, that should really give you the motivation to be there. If your dad was there, do understand that he gave you the example, so you have no excuse at all whatsoever. And I just say it takes patience. Everyone goes through, all men, we go through our ups and downs. But the good thing about being a man is that we know how to shake it off. Everything is like water on a duck's back. You just shake it off. Love your kids. Be there for them. Like I said, in return, if your dad wasn't there, have all the motivation to be there for yours. Don't let him go through everything you went through. And once again, I say everything you went through. If he's been there, man, and you're not there for your kid, you're letting that name down. Because your dad put the name up.
Yeah.
So don't let that name down.
Yeah, my last name's Kelly. And I was raised from my grandpa to my dad to my older brother. Like, we were all raised with what we call Kelly pride.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be proud to be a Kelly. Be proud of where you came from. And I learned about my great grandpa and great great grandpa, where they came from, the hard work and the sacrifice that they made to put me where I am today, and how blessed I am. Right. And I think having that mindset in the back of my head allows me to just have gratitude and push through those hard days as a father, because in the end I understand that it will be worth it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If all humans had a warning label attached to them, what would your warning label be?
Man, if all humans had a warning, I would say my warning would be,
makes good sandwiches.
I would say, don't, like I said in the beginning, don't get affected. Warning, I'm an affector. I'm going to affect you in a manner of greatness or happiness, goodness, all in the ways of good. So if it's going to be a big warning sign, so if you think you're about to come over here with Debbie Downer, or shall I say, with the attitude of having some kind of sorrow heart, I'm not even going to let you leave from my presence with that same feeling. So that would be my warning label. It would definitely be an affector. Don't get affected.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So all your kids are adults now, right?
Yeah, they're all adults. Oldest is 32. The youngest is 22.
Do you still feel like you're leading by example, or are they teaching you now?
The coolest thing is I used to tell my kids on that journey of rise back from fall of fatherhood, I had to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Took hard work, but it took dedication with myself. And in return, I used to tell them, I'm not your friend. I'm your dad. And I think it's important because, You know, there's a time, don't get me wrong, there are times when we're cool, but that cool have to be less minimum because they need to know it's about respect. Because if you play with kids too much, in return, they will play back. And so now, the coolest thing about this journey to now, I do lead by example and continue to. So now I'm able to kick back. My kids don't live with me. I have my stepkids, my wife's boys. They're awesome. But my children are all in other states. And in return, they're doing their thing. Mm-hmm. They're good folks. They not harming nobody. They're not doing harm. And, you know, they keep their ears to my mouth on whether it's phone or thank God we have this, you know, FaceTime and all this electronics. Yeah, so what I do is now I'm able to be their friend because I don't want them to feel so we're so distant now that I'm still so serious. You know, I want them to know that I respect them now as adults. I'm proud of them, and it's part of that proudness that I allow them to say. Yeah. I'm able to say to them, they're not afraid. You know, it keeps the kids from not being afraid to talk to me about anything. You know, now I'm able to soften them up and be cool with them, be their friend, be their ear for them if they need somebody to talk to them. And it takes a friend. So that's the great thing about to now and the examples that I'm able to see that I truly broke the curse, you know. And I'm thankful for that. God gets the glory. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. I'm just kidding. I don't have any sponsors. I'm a one-man show, but I would appreciate you liking and subscribing and following my journey on social media. I'm working hard to put out relevant and useful content for y'all, and your support means the world to me, and it keeps me going, so I really appreciate it. You're an entrepreneur, a business owner. I always liken owning a business to fatherhood because there's so many connections. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I was growing up, I always thought like in business, you get to a certain point and you got to figure it out and that's that. But if you want to continue to grow as a person, as a business owner, you're never going to be comfortable, right? No. And that's how I feel in fatherhood. Like, I feel like right as I'm just getting comfortable with a 2-year-old, I blink my eyes and he's 3. I'm like, I don't know what to do with a 3-year-old. Right. But the reason parenting, I read a quote that said, parenting is only hard for the parents that are trying. Right. And it's the same in business. What are 3 lessons you've learned in business that have reflected in fatherhood?
I think it's the fatherhood that I always say the household is the training ground for outside in every area. And the fatherhood, it teaches you that you're not going to do everything right. Mm-hmm. It also teaches you that you have a chance to always make it right. And it teaches you to never give up. You know, you're going to be faced with all kind of trials and tribulations in fatherhood. And it's the same in business. Yeah. You just have to learn how to be quick on the draw, fast with the mindset, the ability to do things on the fly. You know, that's how it is in fatherhood. It's not a handbook. You're not given a handbook, even though you've seen a good dad and been around your dad and a good father. But it's a different ball game when it's you behind these closed walls to take on that responsibility on a daily. And it's the same of waking up of having your own business. You know, it takes a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. So it's the same. It's basically the same, but the fatherhood is the training ground. It really is. It's the training ground to take that risk to get your own business. Because that fatherhood, you have a job to provide. The fatherhood, you put him in sports. He might not want to do the sports, but you sticking it out with him. The fatherhood is moments when you have to sit down with him and be soft, but you really in the back of your head, you don't want to be soft because this is your son, but you have to take on them moments. And it's the same in business. In business, you have to be, you know, I tell my wife with our employees, it's sometime you got to be stern. This is how it's done.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have those moments when you got to let people go. Sometime when you got to have them soft moments to understand that people have a daily life and they have things outside going on as well. So you have to be understanding in all areas. And so that inside fatherhood, it goes a long way with business, you know. And then the fatherhood is what also teach you that, you know, keeping your eye, maintaining the main thing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
What are you looking forward to in the next 10 years?
10 years. My growth level. I truly want to continue on with this, my character as known as someone who's caring, someone who's in a good mood, someone who's looked upon as positive. I want that to grow as far as the multitude of people. I also want to grow in my marriage. I want to keep that growing as far as with love. That's one of the ultimate goals, because where I'm from, I'm on 14. So I didn't outdone, or shall I say, I didn't beat the odds of where I'm from by far. Mm-hmm. And we're not looking back. I told my wife from day one, this is forever. And so no matter what, through the bitter, the sweet, I told her that marriage is like an intricate dance, you know, and I got 2 left feet. So you're gonna have to work with me stepping on your toes sometime, you know. But yeah, the growth that's one of the main things is I look upon the family, my family, you know, crisis, of course. Of course, he's number one. As long as I stay with that, that's the main thing. You know, I got a jacket on that say blessed by the best. And that's on one of my clothing lines. So I support that to the fullest. And our business, as far as our business growth, we have plans to get another location and or food truck.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get it to where one of my kids will want to be involved and we can go to another state, perhaps grow somewhere else where they at, and because we're on to something good and big.
Yeah, I look at you have 200 plus Google reviews.
Man.
And you know what's interesting is they're not reviewing the sandwich. They're reviewing you.
The experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
They may talk about and mention the sandwich, but it's the atmosphere. It's how they feel. It's the memory. Right?
Absolutely.
So, man, I look forward to seeing you grow.
Thank you, brother.
You know, with people like you that bring such positivity and are happy all the time and just good, positive people, I always wonder, like, who checks up on Waymen?
It's a good question.
Because you're giving all this love, but who's giving it to you? Who's asking you how you're really doing and checking in on you?
You know what? I wake up bright early in the morning, like, 4:30, sometime 5. It's a natural time clock. I get my scripture in. First thing I do is pray. Get my scripture in. I got my family. Got my wife. Even with the tough days.
Yeah.
I need that though.
Yeah.
From where I come from, I need
Yeah.
a strong woman. You know, I have my kids call me. My grandkids call me. I have friends out there that call me, and little do they know that I might not be there in front of their face or their presence, shall I say, or might not show up to their household and spend a lot of time like friends do, but don't mean that they don't mean more than life to me.
Yeah.
And what they do for me, in case I haven't told them, I'm going to let them know right here. You mean a lot to me. And your love means a lot to me. It does everything for me. That's what fills my cup up, is those things in general. Plus, you know what else gives it to me the most is I found my purpose. Mm-hmm. I don't work. What I do is not work. I love what I do. And in return, I wake up to can't wait to go. And when it's time to go, I really don't want to go. And so with that being said, them are the things that does it for me. And I go home and do it all over again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'll say this till the day I die. The world's a better place with you in it.
Man, thank you, brother.
And I appreciate you being on this episode. And it's been a great conversation.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Come to the Sandwich Queen.
Yes.
We're in Payson, 135 West Utah Avenue.
Yes, I'm going to tag you
in Payson City. Come on out. We got the best pastrami's in all of Utah County.
Yes, sir.
Philly cheesesteaks, our cold sandwiches, turkey bacon avocados, fresh baked bread every single day.
You're making me hungry, man.
Come see us.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.